Welcome back to The Wrap. Before we jump in, let's jump on board, shall we? Newsmax wants to send one lucky couple on a 7-day Silversea cruise to the Caribbean this winter. Sounds nice. Obviously, a luxury cruise on the Silver Wind is a trip of a lifetime, no joke. To win, you need to enter our sweepstakes. Visit newsmax.com/sweepstakes to enter. That's newsmax.com/sweepstakes. So, Pope Francis says the perverse economic system of the rich is exploiting the poor and turning the earth into a, quote, immense pile of filth. He's talking about the environment here, and he's calling for bold action on climate change. In his letter to bishops, the Pope says, and we quote, "Nobody is suggesting a return to the Stone Age, but we do need to slow down and look at reality in a different way to appropriate the positive and sustainable progress which has been made, but also to recover the values and the great goals swept away by our unrestrained delusions of grandeur." Pope Frankie for you there, Rick. Look at that. And didn't we talk about this yesterday? President Obama is praising the pontiff. We said this would happen. Let's get the quote up. "And as we prepare for global climate negotiations in Paris this December, it is my hope that all world leaders and all God's children will reflect on Pope Francis's call to come together to care for our common home." That is from the president. And leaders on Capitol Hill also weighing in.
Well, one thing we know about this Pope is that he's not afraid to challenge everyone's thinking on issues, frankly, one way or another.
This encyclical stands as an urgent call for government to industry and the whole community to honor the responsibility to preserve God's creation.
Hope Nancy's sore throat goes away at some point. Anyway, could the Pope have an impact here, or should he stay out of it, as Jeb Bush politely suggested on the campaign trail yesterday? Unger.
Well, you know, look, as we discussed a couple of days ago, I was hoping there might be some new scientific information. There wasn't. I took a look. But you know what? You know, if you wonder if we talk to each other off camera, we do. Heather and I were discussing this, and Heather made just a brilliant point, and I'm going to steal it, but I'm going to give her credit.
I see he does that.
Yeah. She pointed out that the Pope's real job is looking out for the poor. And I thought, you know, that's so true. Yes, he represents all the Catholics in the world, but he really does have the role of looking out for the poor. And let's face it, if global warming is real, you all have your point of view on it, if it is real, who suffers more from the results than the world's poor? So I think he's absolutely within his rights, and he's absolutely the right guy to talk about it.
I think we all agree it's real. I just wonder if we agree on the degrees of, we've had people on here who say it doesn't exist whatsoever. I think it's a matter of degrees. Like, is the world going to just in trouble in 5 years, 10 years, 50 years? And that's where the disagreement comes in. Heather, I want to hear your tremendous point. I wasn't privy to this conversation.
Well, I think that it is totally within his right, and it's his job to do it. It's just how it's going to be received. Is it received as coming from the Pope or from some otherworldly being that knows something that we don't know? The science doesn't tell us what is causing the problem, so we don't know. In the statement, the encyclical, he talks about it being caused by air conditioning and driving cars, and that, it seems to me, is probably not the cause.
It's a little behind the curve, it seems like.
So I think that I think you know, the rabbi would probably be best to speak to some of these
Look, I just
issues.
think he's gone very strident here, and that's a mistake. But I think in speaking out, whether I agree or disagree, and there are pieces I really disagree, he is absolutely doing the right thing. Faith is not, for at least many people, a 1 day a week or a 2 hour a week thing. It's a 24/7 thing. And the condition of poorer and imperiled populations is every bit as much his concern as is church liturgy. Now, I think he goes over the top. I think there's draconian apocalyptic language, massive crop failures, huge, movement of populations, and I think that's not helpful.
Well,
the other thing is
predictions that have been made by science.
I understand, but with the power he has and the influence he has, it would probably be helpful to use his moral authority as opposed to predictive value. The other thing is I hope the people who are touting him on this issue will also note that he came down hard against population control, abortion, and embryonic stem cell research. He's an interesting character. For him, this is about concern for life. It just turns out his concern for life both hates bankers and capitalism, but also hates abortion and doesn't even believe in embryonic stem cell
Doesn't
research.
everybody hate bankers? Why do you want the Pope to be any different?
That was bankers, not bakers.
Oh, bankers!
Interesting. What I do know about this Pope I can never remember, I'm not that old, I don't think, but I can never remember a pope that has made this many headlines on an almost daily basis. There have been other popes we didn't hear a thing from.
Pope John.
Pope John, what, Paul II?
And before him, John 23 in the Second Vatican Council. And this Pope is very much in that line. He is willing to shake things up. He is simultaneously deeply traditional and expansive in his thinking. I just think when you're that expansive in your thinking, you got to watch your rhetoric.
He does do it a little bit differently. I will say that.
Apparently, though, where he sleeps, it's air conditioned. Just saying.
Really? He's like the Al Gore of the Vatican, where he says, we got to cut down on energy.
Now you're going to
but-
make me regret what I said. Because there are many things in the document, in the 186 pages, that are magnificent. Just tone it down.
Gotcha.
To be heard and received better.
Gotcha. And by the way, Pope, I didn't mean the air conditioning thing. I don't want to push that
better
boulder for
watch
eternity.
yourself.
Anyway, Donald Trump, we're talking to him next. Stay tuned.